Paddy John is here, Paddy Boy, Robbie Kent and Mr. P. Alone with just me, it's Friday. How you going, team? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and we've got one-handed Lauren there. We've just been speaking about some exciting stuff. We've got Mr. P, who's had a horrible week. Let us know what's going on. Is there anything we can do, Mr. P, to make you feel better? Scratch that spot, so to speak. It seems like it's been a horrible year for the world, but naturally there's a bell curve, and others have got a lot worse than others. So it's hopefully you do all right, mate. And tonight will be a distraction for you, more or less. We've got Robbie Kent, who we also call Kent9, the lover of dogs. We've got Midway. We've got Dave D, Double D, the volunteer amputee. We've got the Dark War here, Peter Crams for exams. We've got Train 155. We've got Fugly, yeah, and Gina's not with him. We've got Sammy Code. G'day, mate. We've got Aloe. How's it going, Kaz? I'm doing well, mate. And we've got Emma C. What do you see, Emma? We've got Kynan, not Kynan Peppers. Manscape, says Robbie Kent. We've got the Big I6. How you going? The Albatross crew are here. Mate, we're going to be talking about some subjects, engagement, better topitality, and getting a job done. Rules of engagement of the cabin boy. Toby Gardner, Ewan McFarlane. What happened then? Okay, we've got Ryan Ward here. Lauren, please leave a thumbs up below. Okay, instructions there. Give a thumbs up where you can too, so YouTube knows we're worth the rub, so to speak. We got Frank, not in Stein, but M10, and Aaron Mills, who never comes up short, who hopefully is about to finally get some good news coming his way. To all of those out there that are wondering what's the go of Kaz's hair, that's letting you know at 49 that my virility, my lion's mane, is there to let all you balding guys know that you were too angry when you were 17, so settle down. Nathan Franklin, Kaz and team. It's a long time since I've been on. Legend, how is it all? Nathan, it's fine, mate. We're making the best of what everyone is at the moment. And luckily we're in a position where we're watching most of the world's calamities at the moment rather than participating. We've got Ryan Berg, who is not to be used in conjunction with Iceberg, the killer of the Titanic, which had two maiden ships with it. One of those got a military bravery award, so to speak, for destroying and ramming a German U-boat and successfully destroyed it. We've got Minnie Lou, Diddy Mao from that village. Got the same Gillette you're wearing, Kaz. One sec, here, team. Patrick John is donating before the audio shuts out. Not Sue Cow. He's chosen yellow tonight. And, mate, you're going to be pretty happy there, Paddy John. Have you got the Spider-Man there? You know how woke we're getting at the moment when the new Spider-Man is now black. You're going, come on, guys. Don't make it so obvious, can we? Peter Parker was his name, wasn't it? Spider-Man. He was always a skinny little white boy. Now he's a black woke guy, you know, and probably has shares in Seattle's destruction. We've got JC. I'm on the piss at a mate's house. Hope you're all doing well. Come on, JC. You're a copper. You don't have mates. What are you having, a donut party? Do you get excited when you see someone doing a donut in a car? Bloody cops. Thin blue line. Yes, please. I'm on your side, mate. I stand for cops, and so does our channel. Jay Hayes. There we go. It's time for cerebral palsy. Boom. There we go. West side. And to JC's mate, or mates, claimed mates, Kiwi, Raffy, Cop, friends, Aussies, well done. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit about rules of engagement before we start to talk about the giveaway, which is coming out. And you're going to be excited by that one. We're going to talk a little bit about rules of engagement. We're seeing at the moment in Seattle, sleepless in Seattle, literally, where up to 6 blocks have been seized by radical elements of the BLM, which is not a Subway sandwich, it's Black Lives Matter, and the Antifa, which are so oppressed that their building doesn't have a smashed window despite the fact that it hasn't got a security guard, and they've smashed more than 500 buildings, and more than 100 murders have taken place over the looting and rioting for one man who was killed by a policeman, but they've killed up to 100 innocent people in the name of peace and love and oppression. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But there's one thing that I've noticed from a military perspective, that the Big I6, that JC, that Dave D, the military fraternity and the police have a inside view of what's right and what's wrong, rules of engagement, how you can use them when they're not, when they're not using them, and why not. And what I want to explain something is rules of engagement is a series of cards that are rehearsed, and the police officers, military, have different rules of engagement, and the rules of engagement can change. We used to use training cards to put it basically yellow card, red card. Yellow card was normally low-level operations, police, and domestic policing, okay, for either a domestic situation in Australia or for a abroad situation where you might be peace monitoring or peacemaking, so to speak. That's moving more into your red card. Now, the difference between those was that there was a scale of escalation on what you could do, whereas red card was you could, and that was normally used for straight up conflict where you don't have to warn the enemy you're there, and you can, bam, straight up. Wait 2 seconds, team. Boom, not too cow. We've got one of our biggest donations of this new channel, and that's from Sammy Code. I don't know what we've said that hit your G-spot, buddy, but he's decided to donate big for the channel. Mate, thank you very much. Again, not too cow. Repetition, not too cow. Thank you very much. Sam, if you've got a message, mate, throw it up there. Happy to help. Paddy John's trying to meet you there. Sorry, last one donating is the least I can do for all the free information you give us. It's not free. You're still got to suffer yet. Okay, prayers and not too cow. Thank you, team. Awesome news. Awesome. And that's all going to go on my transition. I want to get a transition to be a man. I could hear some people laughing out there. Oh, PK, Trump should cut the Democrat state out of the US. Look, I think you're exactly right. You know, at the moment, what I believe is occurring is we're seeing an insurrection. We're seeing an attempt to overthrow a legitimate government and using violence to do so, which means you can step that force up, yellow card, red card, so to speak. But this is what I don't understand. If you try this one out, if you went to JC in the street, if you went to a police officer in the street of any country and it wasn't a riot, wasn't looting, there was no provocation, and you got a bottle of gasoline and you put a rag in it and he saw you do it and he saw you light it, female or male cop, and then he sees you walking towards him and then your arm goes back, he's legally allowed to shoot you dead. Not shoot the wound, bang, take you down to Chinatown. He's allowed to do that. In the military, naturally, we can do the same. So why is it so different where police wearing flammable clothing, which is not fire retardant, horses as well, have to go out there and put up with someone doing something that would be, a death penalty, so to speak, the executioner on the ground to preserve life? How come it's also changed? How come someone can come up and throw something into a cruiser? We also have rules of engagement for inanimate objects, things that are vital assets. Now, that can be water treatment plants. That can be police stations. It can be an extension of that police station. It can be a cruiser, police cruiser. If you were to go and throw a firebomb into that, we're assuming that you do not know whether there is police officers inside that vehicle. So when you go to damage a police vehicle, an extension of security for that country and peace and law enforcement, that you should be able to use up to lethal force to protect it. There is no reason why the precincts in Minneapolis, etc., should have to leave their building. You know, there's so many states in America where you can stand your ground, don't have to go backwards, and can defend your property. Why can't the police? They gave ground to scum. They gave ground to criminals, to attempted murderers, to those that were trying to pull the country down by aggressive and violent means, an attack, so to speak. Why did they go backwards? They shouldn't have had to. And as a result, we have seen police officers that have lost their lives. I don't understand. Rules of engagement, team. A lot of you are going to be operating one day under rules of engagement. It doesn't mean it's nice. Sometimes you step up in a way that is absolutely a deterrent to let people know you knew it was coming and we're going to have to crack the neck of a couple of chickens to teach the others a lesson. I'll give you an example. Over in East Timor, when we were over there, first time I got a notification, JJ, great to have you here, Patreon. Madison, good to have you here, my dear. Madison was wondering, coat hangers fine for Kapooka. You'll have coat hangers there. Yep. I'm not sure if you're going to actually buy them or at the shop, because you used to have to just buy them because you're only allowed to have a certain amount in your locker layout as per the diagram that you're given. Sammy Code, what's going on here? Sorry, Paddy D. I'm competitive. Keep up the vids, Kaz. Sammy Code, not too cow. And please, guys, no more. Okay, no more. All right, no more tonight. Okay, can we say that Sammy's won? But you're both legends. Let's just leave it there. Please. Jesse Lighthound, how you going, mates? We had another one up here. No worries, mate. I just want to say thanks for the videos, mate. Keeping me motivated and passionate about joining the army. And it's a great time to join, mate. Notice no news on female cop injuries. We haven't seen anything on any injuries, but what we do know now is that in excess of, I believe, 100 people have lost their lives directly due to these incidents and the violence in Chicago as a result. Yeah, so as we were saying, back in East Timor, there was a wheat silo that we had to go and secure and reinforce because we'd heard that was their food source for the city. Now, we were to go there as my platoon, 2 platoon, and we were to go there and we were to secure the wheat silo that was starting to get out of hand so that they could do a controlled distribution of wheat to the people, yeah? And wheat and rice, or it might have been just wheat. And the crowd started to get out of control. And the first people to suffer are the women, because they get pushed to the front to go and get the food. And then people will steal it off them when they go back through there. Well, it got to the position where we had to draw a line and basically say, put the bayonets on, so that becomes a line where they are not allowed to come up. You don't intend on hurting them, but it's still considered non-lethal means. If you get a bit of a in the leg, you're going to get the hint pretty quick. And it's a visible effect as well. PK, getting on board. Kaz and team, just wanted to say thank you for all such information. Is that Channel or Chanel? Stay safe, team. PK used to be my favourite chewing gum. Yeah, so what a lot of people don't understand is these people aren't criminals. These people aren't. They have the right to protest, all that. Remember, there's a curfew. And that curfew was also put out there to protect the populace from the coronavirus, okay, as well as the dangers that come to you because of looting, because of the gang violence. Remembering, it's not just at the line of skirmish, like you would in a game of NFL or a game of rugby league, so to speak. Blocks back, where it's dark and dingy, you can choose to come down and have a look, take a photo, but you can't just disengage whenever you want. So the police need the ability to be able to step up at a moment's notice and go, break the chicken's neck. So, rules of engagement. We can talk more about that in a minute, but I want to let you know on something else. What happened today that was technology driven that is really, really exciting? And it's going to be exciting for you guys. Does anyone know what happened today that was exciting for you? A technological announcement release. Anyone? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think there. Any Submariners here? Now, those guys have got some balls, and the cabin boy knows all about them. I love the Albatross, and I've got a real affinity now for our Navy guys. I do. I tease you a lot, but now I'm starting to think, what would have my life been? Okay, JJ, the PS5, Patrick John, the PS5, Ryan Ward, the PS5. Is right on track. Well, team, Nick, how you going, Nick Arvels? Not Nick Marvel. Nathan Franklin sees rule on. There's Jesse Lightbound. I wish I had Jesse's girl. So, team, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. What's happening, Kaz, from Auckland? How you going, bro? Mate, I love New Zealand. Love it. Spent a lot of time there with the 2nd 1st Battalion, okay, the New Zealand Infantry Regiment. Fantastic guys, hard hitters. Tekapo, beautiful, but really chaps my ass. The West Coast, way too wet, and the Wasps were insane. And then we have the lovely ladies of Dunedin and Queenstown. What a magical place. And I hope to go there again soon. And I would be absolutely willing to do a catch-up, meet up, maybe hand out some merch once I get some more in the lovely place of New Zealand. I love it. Absolutely love it. Do you want to make a snowman? Melissa and Andrew. G'day, guys. How you going? So what's going on with the PlayStation 5? It was announced today. You can get it with the wireless headphones. You can get it with the remote control for the telly. You can get it as a complete family pack. So what we're going to do as a channel, and I'm letting you know now, we're going to be giving away DOS. That means 2 in Spanish. Now, the Xbox is coming out too, and X marks the spot, as we know. So we're going to give you a chance to get one of the two. If you prefer Xbox, you can get Xbox. If you want PlayStation, you can get PlayStation. But this year, we're going to give away a top-tier pack of the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox X, what's the full name to it? Scarlet package. We're going to give away 2. All right. The only caveat to that, right, is Lauren is going to be the boss because I don't want it to be me. I don't want that pressure. So what we're going to do is between Lauren and I, so you're going to have to watch this place, the rules for this are going to come out between Lauren and I, Dave, maybe JC as well. Think of what would be fitting criteria so that these go to the right people, okay? So it doesn't go to strangers that aren't friends of our channel, people in the street, so to speak. And one of you is going to be getting this for your family. Well, 2 of you. So watch this place. While we're talking about that, the Patreon will be giving away, there'll be a position for the next Patreon that makes it onto our Patreon. The link is not below, but you can go through our front page. We keep forgetting to do it. Is getting the regimental number of 200, which I believe is CC in Roman numerals. That's a valuable number. I can't believe it hasn't been taken yet. So if you want to just not worry about donations and be part of the inner sanctum that helps us to help others with the donations that come there, then simply don't worry about donating to the channel anymore on the chat. Just go through $5 a month on Patreon and watch us give it to the homeless or spend it on things to give to you. All right. So spend less, see more, so to speak. We'll see who makes it on. But there's a caveat. The next person on, there's a little bit of a surprise for too. And only the people on Patreon already know what's happening because it's already been announced on Patreon. Jay. Really. Because I know that if I get the enjoyment or get the taste for a game, then you won't see streams anymore. That you won't see videos anymore. You won't see any creativity. All you'll see is Kaz looking like I've had a double stroke, from doing the midnight hour playing the games. I will give you one. I'll give you one confession here, team, and I've probably got many. The best game that I reckon I've ever played outside the Xbox series, where I originally met Stoddy, Medic, and Dave D, who came on there and had a bit of a laugh on the way I used to narrate the game. It was World of Warcraft. It was an amazing game. The way you could start with just a pair of jocks and blinking eyes and a confused look on your face, like a man who's about to get married, and then slowly go and bash rabbits with rocks and walk all over the world, and then eventually get a wolf, and then work your way up to a flying griffin, and then before you know it, you're going backstabbing people and taking their loot. I loved it. No sexuality, but it was horrible. I rather wear hobby skirts, but I wear them like a boss. There we go. Only console I don't own is the PS4 and Xbox One so far. Well, imagine if you had an Xbox X Scarlet or a PlayStation 5. What a good way to start that off. Robbie Kent, my wife, won't give me my pants back. A thumb can be heavy. Anyone listing on July the 20th, that is soon. You're just waiting for it to get a little bit cooler, aren't you? Yeah. Madison, what pajamas do we wear at Kapooka? No, you won't wear your own. You know, actually, men, I don't know what chicks wear, because guys basically wear nothing as they sleep across from a stranger, straight across from with their leg head at a 90-degree angle, blinking at them, waiting for them to go to good night Jim Bob, so to speak. I don't know what women wear. I'd like to see, because the pajamas, if they still do it, we used to have to actually have them ironed in a position. It was really hard to get them in there, and then they stayed that way. Even your socks have to have a happy smile or a frown, which determines your mood, so to speak, and you'll see more about that when you go down there. Fugly, well, Kaz played well, unsubscribed. That's fine, Fugly. That's fine. Everyone to their own. Ryan Ward, I don't judge you that you want to go to RAF. Ryan Ward playing DayZ at the moment. Okay, Tommy Gardner playing Armour 3. I'd love to play Armour 3, but it just looks so technical, mate. It looks so technical. I don't want to look like a bum when I go in there as a veteran and I'm not good at it. PK, favourite chewing gum. Thanks, Lauren. I think Kaz said he has a police Patreon, had 20 years there, so we'll join that one if I can work it out. Our Patreon is the Roman Legion, mate. I'm having a ceiling of 480 people. We've already got 120 in there. That fluctuates. But as you know, anyone that knows from our previous channel and this one, we are completely transparent. And I think all the money so far is all going on other people, mostly homeless and those that don't always appreciate it. Slim Jim Bob. Shit PJs. Yeah, they were terry toweling, flannelette pajamas, so you want to wear them, but you don't want to re-iron them. So you tend to wear nothing but your mate's gaze. We've got Jason Bridges. There's nothing that says military precision than ironing your pajamas. It doesn't even make sense, does it? Lawrence is saying there, any Patreon patrons can enter. And this is one of the stipulations. Sorry, I forgot to say before. If you were a patron, as of today, after today, you'll be in line for the second Xbox or PlayStation. But if you're on today, you will have now been registered for the first Xbox or PlayStation 5 that's up for grabs. But that will be off as of tomorrow morning. So get on early if you're in jail, break out. Help me to help others while potentially receiving something fantastic for you or your family prior to Christmas. My pleasure, PK. Hi, Sean Davey, MSC. To confuse you even more, on a forum there was a girlfriend organising PJs for her man at Puka. Now, I think what it should be is your lockers should be locked at night and everyone should be given a teddy bear onesie. So if you try to go AWOL, all we've got to do is look for someone pretending to be a bear. That won't be that hard. I've got mine in the other room. It makes you feel a little bit dicky, but I'm 49 years old, and anything that makes you feel a little bit younger, a little more in touch with fun, it's a good feeling. For those who are on here for the first time, g'day, Monish. How you going, mate? If this is your first time on here, you need to subscribe to the channel now, because this is the Forever channel. This is the Australian channel. This is the voice of you may not realise, that is here to answer you. We're here to answer your questions. We're to be the YouTube channel that gets back to you. So unlike the UN, which doesn't have teeth, so to speak, this is a way of you having an online voice rather than have to create it yourself, okay? Because it is really hard to maintain the YouTube momentum, so to speak. But it's a pleasure to represent you. Jason Bridges. Ward here, boy, in blue pajamas. There you go. Jam Man. Sounds like a cabin boy. Kaz must try Insurgency Sandstorm Insane Shooter. My eyes are also going batshit crazy from being in nightclubs all my life too. And who needs a console when you've got a trusty PC? Jesse, I agree. I do agree. But I don't want to see fighting between the kids. So we'll make sure that it's a console and they are going to be next level with no chance of needing a syntax error. William Kelly, 2 first names. One's a male, one's a female. Makes it difficult. Melissa and Andrew. We've got Kind and Peppers again. Got to watch out for drop bears. You do. Lauren's been playing South Park game. You always got some weird sort of spin on it, haven't you, Lauren? Patrick John. Spoke to my careers coach. She told me commando had just become a priority role. Told her to let me think about it before you step on it and decided to put it in as my first preference. I'm up for the challenge. They'll tell you if you're up for the challenge. Remember, you will go through additional assessment. What do you call it? Assessment day questioning, especially in line with your psychology. And even if you're in the military already, even if you're infantry, you'll be given additional psychological screening before following any path to either commando, 2nd Commando Regiment, or that of the SASR, Special Air Service Regiment. Billy Harding, shout out. Billy Harding team. You wouldn't believe it. Today, Billy actually had to create an artificial brain, for a child from Istanbul before lunchtime, so he could still get to Nepal in time to make it to base camp if he sprinted and his brand new Kayano joggers. Well done, mate. Great job, Billy. I hope you enjoyed your call out. Peter Caden. Kaz, might need a minute silence at the end for the Black Hawk tragedy on this day back in 1996. Peter, that day always escapes me, despite the fact that I lost 3 people I knew in that crash. And it was a terrible day. I remember it clearly. I'm not sure if you are military, if you were part of the military then, mate, or whether you're just respecting the day. It was crazy to be in bed and then get woken up by the lucky girl of my life at the time to say, Dean, do you know anyone in SASR? And I went, I know a lot of people in SASR. And then she said, there's been a really big crash. And I'm going, what are you talking about? And that was when I woke up and you could hear the duk of the choppers going everywhere, the lights, and all that. And it was a mass casualty event in Townsville where I believe it was at Firebase Barbara, where there was a collision between 2 Black Hawk helicopters full of SAS soldiers, and 17 lost their lives. I believe it was. Churchy had just been with us in Rwanda. Had only just come back from the Kabayo massacre, right, and then lost his life. Right, we had Frosty, who was killed that day as well. Big boy, Blockjaw from Bravo Company, the 2nd 4th Battalion. We also had Gordo Callow, who had been one of our 2 ICs, and he was a tough guy, a really tough guy. And he lost his life too, and had only just got over to SASR a couple of years earlier. So we lost Australia's best that night, but it also affected the emergency responders. There was people doing triage on, I believe it was in Kmart car park, and at the Willows Park there. They were doing medical procedures just in public places to try and save the lives of all of the wounded. It was a horrible thing, and Alpha Company went out to assist with the recovery mission. It was a pretty tough one by all those involved. So we can do that, man. We can do that. 18 died. There you go. The pilots and the SASR aboard. Thanks there, Ryan. Thank you very much, mate. We've got Jonathan Petalino. Hey, Kaz. How about it? The dislike guy isn't here yet. Good to see JJ. How about we do that? Let's do a moment's silence now for those gallant men that lost their lives, righto, in the Black Hawk disaster of 1996. And we're going to take a minute out for that now, and because it is very well that it was picked up, and this is an appropriate time to do so. So in the name of the 15 men that lost their lives plus the additional 3 with the pilots, etc. You can think the names Gordo Callow. You can think the names of Frosty and Churchy. And let's take 1 minute to give back a little bit for them and their families that may be watching either this or be wondering who still thinks about their loved ones that were lost while preparing to be the saviors or the administrators of justice to those that had deserved it. So 1 minute, team. If you can join me, put a thumb up just to acknowledge the sacrifice of those that fight on our behalf. Thank you, team. And to all those that lost their lives, lest we forget. To their families, it's such a hard thing to understand that every day that you're watching the TV or as we sit here, there is people representing our safety as either police officers, fire brigade, soldiers. At any given day, any given minute, every single day of the year, there is an Australian soldier overseas sitting on a machine gun in the cold or in the heat that misses his family. The Anzac is not an old term. It is still current. They are still there. And you are lining up to be beside them in history. And when you go to Kapuka and you visit the Hall of Honor, the Wall of Honor, the Fallen, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, you never really realize while you're there, after you've signed the enlistment paperwork, that you in fact could join them. Okay, where we don't define what your age was, what your religion was, what your gender was, or what your rank was, because we're all equal in death. And it's a noble way to go still. Having said that, I hate war. I can't stand it, knowing that everywhere where we've fought in the past, we could go there now safely with no real ill feelings from the people we once called enemy, all because of the bickering and the failures of the fat people we call politicians, who more often than not don't have a child push forward to represent, to have a dog in the fight, so to speak. Something to reflect on. In Rome, you used to have kids in the military, men in the military, so that you had something to lose based on your stupid decisions. I am good, surviving. Simon Powell. Simon is swollen from, all of his low limb injuries from waiting in lines in the RAF to get fed. Hey, Kaz, I'm on a recon course at the moment at 3RR. Any tips? Man, it's a hard course, bro. The recon course is a really hard course because pretending to care, regardless of season, weather, or terrain. All you got to do, mate, is buck up. Don't lose your cool. And remember, you're always being watched. And with reconnaissance, remember, you don't have to get as close as you think. And as we cut things down as the pie, that you go out, because lateral movement is how we see each other. Lateral movement. So make sure you come back off the target on the spokes before you move around, get to a position where you stop, and then you move in to go and get the information. Yep. Right, so make sure you come out a little bit further than you think you need before you do any lateral movement. As a former scout, okay, when I'm looking for an enemy approaching, we used to just put your head a little bit on the side because you can see through the corner of your eye, your peripheral vision movement easier than what you can when you're staring and looking for it. Other than that, mate, just slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take your time and remember you're always being watched. Always. Never show that weakness. And well done, mate. Well done. It's a hard course for those that don't know. There is two sorts of patrols. There is a fighting patrol and there's a reconnaissance patrol. If a reconnaissance patrol is ever firing a weapon, then they have failed their mission. They have fucked up because their job, unlike the movies, is to get information and get out without the threat force knowing that you have been there. Fighting patrols means the guys that go out for attacks, the guys that do standing patrols, blocking tasks, the people that go out there to interdict the enemy or deny the enemy, that have a kinetic, a physical punch that can, from a defensive position or an offensive position, they're there to fight. They take their mouth guard. Yeah. It's important to never forget those that gave the ultimate sacrifice. You're right there, Kind and Peppers, but it's so hard when you just cannot picture the face. You can get the name, you can get the stories, but if you don't get the atmospherics, it might as well be a photo of the 1920s you look at and go, I'm trying to put myself there, but I can't. And that's what the young people of today have to understand, that knowledge, seeps into you slowly like a ShamWow. And eventually you seem to have all the ideas. But the hardest thing about today is when we talk about rules of engagement, what makes sense is sometimes you have to hit someone a little bit harder for them to understand. Sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind. That you have been taught that. You have to understand that you've lived life. You've made mistakes or learnt from others making those mistakes. You don't know that. You think you know everything. You see, what's the first thing people do when they turn 18? Not only do they get a car, but they want to smoke in that car and grow their goatee looking weird hair and get a tattoo, everything to try and be a man prematurely, rather than just take it easy, shut up, get strong, become the best version of yourself, get some calluses on your hands, and have other people say that you're good at what you do, that you're worth your salt, so to speak. Don't tell people about your own accolades, what you're awesome at, unless they say, hey, dude, how can you help the team? Okay, this is where I really come in. Yeah. And immaturely, no matter what the age is, it took me 45 years to become a man, and I think I'm only just getting there now. Mr. P. Now, there's a man who's 35 minutes the moderator. I'm the only one he moderates. Mars bars and Gatorade. Yep, the Snickers bars. If it's good for Killian Jornet to sprint up Mount Everest and all he takes is Snickers bars, then that's a great one for you. A jar of peanut butter, high in fat, is a fantastic for energy as well. Remember, the hardest thing about being reconnaissance is you're normally going to be traveling light, which means you're going to be goddamn cold. Yeah. You won't be cooking. Peter, ex-army, I was 16 at the time, but remember it clearly. It's a hoot, isn't it? It's a great time. Patrick John, Kaz, is it true you burn or get rid of your uniform when you come back from deployment because of all the dust and sweat? No, that's fake news, mate. That's fake news. The only time that so I've got one of my old uniforms there. Both of those uniforms have been overseas with me, actually. What was I going to say? No, actually, that one hasn't. The Ozcam one hasn't. The Desert Cams has. The Ozcam uniform is one of the best uniforms we had. We had to burn all our uniforms in Rwanda because we'd been at the Kabayo massacre and had blood and human matter on that, as well as the fact there was cholera and Ebola on the border. So it was important that we came back and everything that we had was basically destroyed, was burnt while we were there naked with the white chalky dust on us and the chemical. They said, do not get that in your Jap eye or you will never have kids, son. So there we were, like a bunch of sailors on off pay week, in the communal shower with the girls upstairs going, woo, hey, sexy. Everyone except that guy called Kaz. Jeez. They didn't care about my feelings at all. And what happened? I'm the only one that was holding me dick like the baton in an Olympic relay, like I was trying to pull it off my body because I was the only one that was stupid enough to get the chemical drip off this big bloody shark beak of mine right into the eye of the Jap eye. Burnt like a bastard. I didn't think I could have kids, but now I've got a beautiful daughter. So the chemical was fake news as well. There's a story for you. Jay, Mr. P, no, I charge $2.20 an hour for tattoos. For those that don't know, Lauren is one of Australia's best tattooists. Yep, she does a lot of freehand art, so to speak. She's magnificent. You can check her out on Instagram too. She's got a lot of stuff on there. And one of the things you don't get to see from Lauren very often, and she has got Lauren is Shining, I believe is the full name for her YouTube channel, is her what do you call it? Is the sped up her painting, the time lapse. It's amazing to watch. With some good music there. Artistically, there's nothing she can't do. It's incredible. Ryan Wood, patrol in Timor, had a lid fall into a money drain on a night patrol in Timor. Had to burn his cams, basically sewage. Yeah. Hey, Kaz, would it be a good idea to know how to swim if I'm trying to join infantry? If you can't do infantry, Jess, I wish I had Jesse's girl, you won't get into infantry. You won't get into any corps. Although they would say there is no requirement to pass in Kapuka, you'll die if you don't when you get to operations. And I'm going to explain to you why, Jesse. And you don't have a choice. You've got to go and work on something you're bad at, i.e. there was one time in my life I was really bad at sex. It was a very brief time. Now I'm perfect. But we assume when you have the Skippy badge that you can do everything. If you are in Townsville, you have to do helicopter underwater escape training, which means you get in the fuselage of a chopper in an indoor pool, okay, with a bunch of blokes, and the fuselage goes down, hits the water, fills with water, and then rolls upside down. And you're not to come up. You're not allowed to cover your nose. You're not allowed to stop water from running into your shark fin. You're not allowed to try and get out when you want. You're not allowed to try and take your seatbelt off. You have to wait until the fuselage stops before you can escape. Vice versa. You could go on Gold Eagle and end up over in Kaneohe Bay with the Marines in Hawaii, and then from there be doing amphibious training. Regardless, you don't have to be in 2nd Battalion amphibious to be going there to do Gold Eagle. And you can go over there and you can be going out of submergible crafts. You could be in Amtraks. You could be going over the side of the ship down a cargo net with a 40-kilo pack on, 12-kilo webbing, rifle, helmet, body armor, etc., where you've got to do almost a somersault sometimes onto that net to get down there. And if you fall in the middle of the night into that ocean, you'd be fucked anyway, really, wouldn't you? It's fear that keeps you on. You need to be able to also swim from 500 meters out, where they drop you in the ocean, and be able to swim to the shore as well. Infantry is not for you if you can't swim. It's also our torture sessions that we give to people when we want a low impact session as an alternative way of training instead of going for a run, instead of just doing push-ups, etc. Work on your weaknesses, work on your weak game so that you are the best version of you. If you ignore the things you're not good at, you'll get found out, and it might be too late. I'll give you an example of that. This guy here, scared of heights. And I mean shit scared of heights. I mean feminine squeal fear of heights. Everywhere I went, we were either repelled off Mount Stewart, off the tower, or we repelled in New Zealand, or we repelled out of helicopters in Hawaii. Or we had operational helicopter patrols with no doors on, hanging out by one seatbelt with mace behind you, giving you gentle shoves in the back to scare the shit out of you once they realize you're scared of heights. There is no, I'm not doing this because it scares me. No one gives a rat's ass. As a matter of fact, they'll laugh at you. So work on them. fears, work on those things you're not good at. Otherwise, you'll come unstuck real quick. Are you allowed to keep the K bar you're issued when you leave? You won't get a K bar, mate. What you'll get is a buck knife. I believe is still the knife they're giving out, and you hand that back. You wouldn't want it, mate. You wouldn't want it. Oliver, please, sir, can I have some more? Qualifying as part-time swimmer instructor while studying. I reckon I could handle infantry swimming. Yep, no dramas. Good. As long as you can handle everything else as well, because someone else's kryptonite might be swimming, yours might be running, yours might be pack marching. Okay, yours might be physical toughness. You might not have the physical toughness to do some of the things. There's a lot of people that are not as tough as they think they are. Agreed. Oliver says, agreed, Kaz, heights and space scared the crap out of me. Do you mean like outer space or do you mean small spaces? Because that, again, scares me. And this is a funny thing. As you get older, your phobias tend to get worse. Really, really bad, because you'll have all micro situations that actually point out to you the dangers of the actual things you have phobias in. Timmy Doust, one of our favourite subscribers there. Good to have you here, mate. Flinny, hi Kaz. Could you suggest to get a Platts for driving before joining army? Get P plates? Yeah, mate. You look like a fucking child if you join up and you haven't got your driver's license. People assume that you're old enough you got an open license before you get in. So get on top of that real quick, mate. Or make sure you've always got a beer in your hand after 4 o'clock. Then you won't be doing any driving anyway. That's a statistic there. The Singo pool sucked during winter with the heater not working. That was probably the coldest thing I remember from Singo. Melissa and Andrew, you're expecting when they say it's a heated pool to go, I hope it's not too hot. And you get in there and you're like, Jesus. And the change room, when that gate opens and you go out to go into the pool area, absolutely freezing. MSC, Patrick, my dad describes them as the best blokes that can get away with a beard. Is that Navy or Pioneers? Hey, Jay, what's our cow count? Timmy, there was some really, really big donations today, mate. Honestly, guys, it was more than you'd expect, and very, very gracious. The cow was heavy. It must be the year of the bovine tonight. Did you hear what Donald Trump is calling COVID at the moment? He's calling it the Chinese plague. He's doubling down on it. It is actually funny. He keeps coming up with new stuff. Brady Cars. G'day, mate. How you going? Good to have you there. Hey, team. How we going? There's a pineapple for you. Effective way to get fit for the army. The hardest thing for this one, Giuliano, the hardest one is normally I would say lock yourself in, go to a boot camp. Let them know I'm joining the military. Have no mercy for me, but make it so that it's safe training. Impact high, okay, but don't do stupid shit like trying to do Chinese push-ups on a medicine ball or a basketball like you see them doing sometimes. Some of those PTs are absolute dickheads trying to make it look like exotic exercise, and they've got no idea what they're talking about. It pisses me off. You can train hard but safe with extreme intensity. Some of these clowns, have got morbidly obese people that are doing exercises that are just an injury waiting to happen, and it makes me angry because they won't be there to pay for the medical bills or even potentially the out-of-work expenses for them should they get an injury while they're trying to make the best version of themselves. Hugh Richard Phillips. I was on holiday in Vietnam. That's Nam to everyone else. And I went into the VC tunnels. I went down with the guide. Me and him couldn't stop laughing after all the other tourists started having panic attacks after like 5 meters. Yep, it would scare me too, mate. Did you think when you were in Vietnam of going across the border into Cambodia and then coming back again so you can say you've done 2 tours of Nam? Is it true that chin hair grows faster when you're in Nam? I'll ask my dad. He's a Vietnam veteran too. Who's allowed to keep a beard in the army? The pioneer sergeant is allowed to have a beard. Other than that, he's meant to be the only one. There's some people get away with having beards because they get skin irritation, so to speak. I don't know why she had it, but a lot of the girls have beards. Just the men aren't allowed to have them. The guys that do have beards is normally because of skin irritations, which is bullshit, because you can have the Americans for fucking decades have been using creams, the African Americans, and you put it on your face and it just dissolves off and there's no dramas. It's just as people that don't know about that because they might not have enough time in the army or exposure to foreign forces to understand there's ways around everything, and you're getting bullshitted too. Yeah, and a blunt razor is going to make your skin look like shit too. Always used to carry, no shit. One of the things that you should carry with you is an electric razor, because we might not make you shave while you're out in the field environment, but we make you shave before you get back onto the vehicle to come home. So an electric razor in a controlled environment, no different to a goddamn mosquito. Ooh, there you are, taking it easy while everyone else is trying to heat up water in winter, drinking out of their coffee mug, drinking out of their shaving mug. It's disgusting. Kaz, my enlistment coordinator isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Hey, there's James Collins. How you going? Now, there's another man that couldn't grow a beard. Old DVA James Collins, one of my favourite people. Thank you for what you do to save guys, mate. He does a fantastic job. Look, this is the thing. You've got to remember, and don't, this is not all of them by any means. When you go to recruiting, you're competing with civilians who are trying to get more money for recruiting people, regardless of whether it suits them hand in glove, so to speak, i.e., young lady, you should think of infantry, you could do it. Bullshit. A lot of these guys went to recruiting so they didn't have to become an instructor and do the hard yards of Kapooka. So they didn't have to do even harder yards of being a section commander at the School of Infantry. So they go to recruiting, staying in the air-conditioned building. So they've already dodged their instructor's requirements. You might have got them also there when they've got other situations. It's not about dodging being an instructor. They might be having some hard times with family. So they're there. They might be taking a respite because they've just come back from operations. So they're there normally taking a rest out. Their priority is not normally, okay, because you cannot be passionate about, let's go and get the right Robbo for the job. That happens with whoever turns up to Kapooka, whoever turns up to the School of Infantry, and we turn them into what we want them to be, so to speak. Alex, Luke Howe, mate, we have the same last name. Oh, okay, Alex and Luke talking to each other. Catonius, my favourite Roman. Good to have you here, mate. Catonius, did you hear what's going on? The PlayStation 5 has been announced today, and the Xbox, I believe, is coming out soon as well. What we're going to do as a channel, and Lauren is going to be the one that determines who gets it, there is an Xbox or PlayStation going to be given to someone who is in Patreon up to including 12 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow morning, when I wake up, I'm going to get the names and I'm going to write them all down on who is an active member, a paid member in Patreon, and one of them will be getting, okay, a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox X Scarlet. They'll get to choose that. And then after tomorrow, then that group will be available again for the second one that'll go out. And we're going to go for the complete package as well. And Lauren is shining. Okay, our most trusted female on the channel. She's going to be making the decision on who gets it. So we'll talk and decide what the criteria is, who should get it and who it would benefit to. But it doesn't have to be about X Factor, tell me a sad story so I've got the best chance of getting it. It can be completely random if that's what Lauren wants. All right? That's all going to be on Lauren. Hey, Lauren, stop blowing hearts to Contodius, or he's going to think that it's automatically coming to him. Hey, Contodius, did you see that Jordan Peterson he's still gone. MIA. I don't know what happened to him when he went into detox, etc., but I don't think he's coming back, mate. Catonius and I were both on the trip, what do you call it? The seminars for Jordan Peterson. I was there 2 nights in a row. It was a fantastic gig. I got to sit on the lounge for him and talk to him intimately for over an hour. It was fantastic. It was a really good night. Tony, that's a great competition. Best of luck, lads and lasses. I don't play video games myself. There you go. You just made it a little bit easier for Lauren. We've got Brady Carr for Xbox. Am I still paid up? I don't know. I don't check on yous, mate, because I don't want people feeling guilty if they can't. Now, we've been going through some hard times. I know we were on 120 before it started, but we'll see where we're at. 55 minutes, nearly time to say goodbye, Kaz. I get it, Mr. P. I get it. Kane Higgins. How you going, buddy? He's from Queensland. Whereabouts in Queensland? He's from Mackay. There you go. I know that chap's, where is he? Jay Hayes asked when I remind you. Paddy John, best Kapuka, army slang. Not too cow for starters. Best Kapuka, army slang. Let me think. Derek's going deep, says Brady Cars. Jay cussing down there. Paddy John, best army slang. What they used to call them. I used to laugh that they used to call the women buzzards because there was no females in our platoon. So we always used to get told to keep away from the buzzards, and that was also what they called the wives and the girlfriends when I was going through. Corporal Pyre from Transport was the name of my instructor. He used to, and Phil Doman, I think it was the infantry one that used to call the women buzzards, and I used to always get a bit of a laugh out of that one. Cruelest nickname. Oh, cruelest nickname. Geez, I don't know. What have we got? I've told you before, one of our mates who was Asian used to get called Hoochie Eyes because it only takes a little piece of cord to blindfold him. James Collins, like me, is nasally challenged. And James, they used to call him Hooter. You got to remember, team, that it's set out of love, unless you're a complete loser, and they'll find something that fits as well. Biggest recruit cock up. I reckon mine would have been one of them, Timmy. Oh, we'd have to say the guys that have killed themselves at Kapuka because they couldn't handle it. That's right. People have killed themselves at Kapuka. That's a cock up. That's 3 months of your life. If you don't like it, just walk out. Tell them I can't do it. But one of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to me was when we switched from the SLR and the M16 and the F1, and we went over to the Steyr. And I remember that our section commander was talking to us about the pull-through, about the service flannelette. There's a certain amount of service flannelette that you put in the pull-through, you pull it through the barrel, it cleans it all out. The rifling is spotless and clean, beautiful. And anyway, people were putting bits in that were just a little bit too big and getting stuck. What they didn't realize was I was around the corner and had some completely stuck. I'd put way too much in, she said. And he comes out, and I heard him go, if one more person gets a pull-through stuck in their rifle, they are getting back squatted, and I don't care what their excuse was. And he didn't know I was around the corner, actually hanging off a rafter by the barrel, doing like a chin-up off the barrel, trying to get my pull-through out, and I was only making it deeper and deeper and deeper. I can't even remember how we fixed it. Someone else did it for me, but I thought I was going to be done. One who fakes injuries, okay, and dodges training, Malingra. Malingra is the worst thing you can ever get called. That is someone who's weak. That is someone who deliberately uses fake news to get out of activity while the rest of you suffer, sometimes on their behalf. What was it? One of the funniest ones was a guy called Gale. I've told you about this before. This guy weighed a little bit less than a blue heeler dog. He weighed nothing. And this guy was so knackered after doing a 15-kilometre pack march at speed that when we had to do the RDJ, the run, dodge, jump that you still have to do sometimes it's still at the School of Infantry, that you had 45 seconds to do it, and he kept missing out by a second, and then 2 seconds, and then 3 seconds, 5 seconds, and the whole platoon standing around as the PDI's going, go again, and he wouldn't make it. He'd go again. And he got to the stage where he couldn't even keep his head up. He was that exhausted. And then we had to go over and do the ropes. We got to go with your rifle and equipment up the ropes, touch the bar, come down, American Ninja, go back up there without touching the ground. So you come down twice under controlled descent. And his body gave out. He kept failing everything because they'd taken him past the point of where he could do his job anymore. And his bowels just released, and he shit everywhere. It was through his pants. He ended up going to 1RAR. There you go, James Collins. And anyway, we had to do the fireman carry. And that means you've got to pick the person up, your buddy, and you've got to put your arm between their legs and then pick them up on your shoulders and run 100 meters with your equipment and all their equipment too. And they said, who's going to be your buddy? Let's see who your real friends are, Private Gale. Because they all could see that he'd shit himself. He was crying. And that's where I showed me true colours, so to speak. And I went over and said, mate, I'll carry you, buddy. Even though I was going to the 2nd 4th Battalion, the Royal Australian Regiment, I picked him up. And I tell you, it felt like I had a Mr. Whippy slushy machine, hanging over my arm. And I don't know what he was eating, but it was disgusting. It smelled like he'd been eating dog food for a month. And that shit was all over me. It was all over him. And I don't even think he said thank you. Little son of a bitch. 1RAR, that's what you get. Timmy Dowse, 1RAR is now the big brown one. Catonius. So there you go, mate. I'll pick you up with shit and all. Jason Bridges, I never knew girls had to shave their faces. They don't. The biggest beards in the military are on the females, mate. Is it my switch of times night all? Okay, Mr. P, thank you for being here, mate, and I hope the rest of this week is better for you, mate. Everyone, Mr. P's having a bit of a hard week. For those that don't know, Mr. P is older than me. He's a real battler. He's going through some hard times at the moment. He doesn't ask for any sympathy whatsoever, and we're very lucky to have him with us as our watchkeeper, so to speak. So, Mr. P, good on you, mate. Go and sleep in if you can, buddy. And the borders are about to open, and when they do, this guy did him out of the village, is going up near the Glasshouse Mountains, and we're having a reunion of all the guys that normally have Anzac Day together. That's going to be fantastic. 51, stay safe, Brady Cars. Mr. Anderson. Simon Powell, Aggies are RAF defenders of the fence. Yous are security guards. 20 years older, for fuck's sake. There you go. 20 years. What deployments are infantry getting at the moment? They're still getting Afghanistan, mate. If you've got sergeant rank or above, you still got a chance of going on the Sinai as well. And we don't know what else is coming. No one does. Be careful what you wish for. And hopefully, if it comes after you've got a few years under your belt. So you're relaxed within who you are as a man, as well as your training. And hopefully you have seen others train in a way that you have now got rank on your arm in charge of other Australian volunteers of the best small army in the world, and that you actually use your heart as well as your brain to lead them. Paddy John, Night Kaz, and everyone else, I want to sleep early to hit the gym on the morning. Don't hit it, mate. Just go to the gym. I didn't know the gyms were open. I had a great time. Thanks for answering my questions, Kaz. Paddy John, thank you. And thank you for your donations tonight. Not too cow. And the microphone has worked all night. It's been beautiful. I think after what happened the other day with Twitter getting in a lot of shit with Donald Trump, I think that YouTube has gone, whoa, whoa, whoa. Also with Joe Rogan going over to Spotify, I think what it's done is rewrite the algorithm, so to speak. Fugly for the America Trump 2020 trip. Not too cow. the Trump Invitational is still happening in Sydney, where myself and my crew of politically minded individuals will be coming to Sydney. And then from there, we'll be having a concentrated week of analysis of what is happening, the pitfalls of the commander-in-chief. If he doesn't get in, we're fucked. We are, as well as the US. Believe me, team, we need him to go the whole way. Have a look at the Democrat policies. There is nothing that's good. At the moment, they are cancelling and banning and shutting down everything. We are getting to the stage where the rules of engagement as a human being, you should be able to turn around and say to someone, I will not say sorry. I will never take a knee. I don't feel guilty about anything because I've done nothing wrong to anyone. As a matter of fact, I help people all the time. Don't give me that shit. And if you think I don't like you because of your color, because of your creed, because of your whatever, it's got none of the above. It's because you're a dickhead. Let them know. Stop letting people get away with bad behavior. And if they really don't like it, go and find the real statistics. That'd be very surprising for you. And I bet you they don't like hearing it. There you go. Mr. Josh, the surfer. What a fantastic name. Aiming for Kapooka in October. It's the best time of the year. Nice and warm. You'll be back at home surfing for Christmas. And then you'll be back in to do the rest of your IoT training after that. Where do you call home, mate? Josh the surfer? I'm a Newcastle boy. Lukey Howe. And this going to Kapooka in August. It's a good time. Luke 9 Mile Snipers. Artillery, eh? We will fight for the bovine freedom. I used to love that song. Cows with guns. Hugh Richard Phillips, we're in a information war. We are, but the left is losing, and they are losing badly. And history is going to weigh on them very hard. For those that don't know, I'm from Sydney. There you go. For those that don't know, the Democrats, who are already going really, really badly at the moment in the US because they've sold their souls to try and be accepted. They all got out there and put African attire on, and then all as an assembly took a knee to try and get respect from the African American community. But the African American community looked at them like, you're dickheads. No one likes you pandering to them. If you just be honest to people, sometimes you're going to go a little bit outside the flag, so to speak, but they can accept that. They'll let you off on that. But if people sense you bullshitting, tugging the chain, lying, telling them what they want to hear, you'll never be accepted in their circle. They'll see straight through you and they'll pick someone else. Believe me. And we're seeing that happen with almost every single celebrity. Celebrities aren't celebrities anymore. Now our firemen are our celebrities, our politicians, US politicians, those that are standing up, having moral courage, are those that become our heroes. Denzel Washington, what a fantastic orator he is. Amazing. He gave a great speech that you can find where he talks about his buddies. A lot of them are in jail for 20 plus years for taking the lives of others. Yet he didn't. His son's in the NFL. He's had a fantastic life. And why? Because he had a father that was present. Because he had people with him who gave a damn. Because he chose not to go the wrong way. The massive percentage of everyone across the US is against what's going on at the moment. But they just don't want you to know that. And Australia is on board with the US fake news. Did you know that? If you don't believe that, watch Sunrise. Every single day, they'll try and find a way of saying something disparaging about the commander-in-chief. They don't even try to hide it on Channel 10 on the project. Just know who's trying to change your mind. Jason Bridges, Fury Road, Will Farrell. Do you know Alex Jones? Yeah, I know him out. I know him. Have you seen the speech from Killer Mike? I'm not sure. Hey, well, team, what time is it? It's 8:42. How about you just go and put your head down on the pillow and go and dribble Give yourself some waterboarding. And Wally, he's very selective on who he talks to because he knows he's full of shit. And no one sees them as victims anymore. That victim mentality is horrible. Okay, Madison, my neck is killing me. I have the weekend off, but I'm ready for bed. Go and have Madison, go and have a really hot bath. Listen to some Denzel Washington. Everyone loves Denzel Washington. And then go and just play a little game on your iPad or something and drift off to sleep listening to, I don't know, Chris Watts murders. Mr. Josh the Surfer, the media are so selective in what they cover. Yeah, and it's so obviously bullshit that no one believes them at all anymore. You can get away with saying the truth, but you can't get away with saying bullshit for too long. I'm going to paint and mess up one of my new T-shirts. You do that, Lauren. And send us a photo when one is absolutely spattered, as tomorrow we talk about how we're going to pick a lucky recipient to receive the PlayStation 5 bundle. Painting the logo on the T-shirts, Lauren. Fugly's got his shirt too. 65 likes, 9 cows. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, team. Hi, Kaz. It's been a while. Will Macker, how you going, mate? You've come just at the end, my man. Sorry, buddy. We're about to get out of here. Sonate, Kaz, I have to take a massive steamer shit. Awesome. I love a good shit. It's only a crime if it's going in. Also, thoughts on being called champ. I hate it. I hate being called champ, especially by someone younger than me. I had a guy called me champ the other day who would have been half my age, and I felt like going, I'm going to give you champion in a minute. Never try and fight someone like me who's never won a fight legitimately, because I always end up fighting someone bigger than myself. So the next time I get one, I'm going to win it, and then they'll be known as the first person to lose to me. There you go. And then I'll call myself a champ. No, I hate it. Never call people champ. Or son. It's horrible. What's so bad about being called champ? It's a horrible fucking. It was always considered an insult. It's always been considered an insult. James Wood, I've have a good one, mate. Yeah, I will, mate. No worries. And James Wood, the famous actor, is one of the best people for keeping the left at bay. Well done. Check him out on Twitter. All right, guys and gals. Night. Thank you all. And remember, rules of engagement. The police should always be able to step one step above you. You don't deserve the rights of humanity once you're throwing petrol bombs at our thin blue line. If you're trying to burn a church, if you're trying to burn down a place of worship, if you're trying to burn down a medical facility, if you're trying to burn down a police station, that is a time where I believe that it should be shoot to kill time. Yep. I'm not going to let you throw a firebomb at me. I'd lock and load and you'd be going down. Okay, thanks for the stream. No worries there, Flinny. Thank you all. And have a good weekend, because the borders are about to open. And when they do, it's time to fly away. Just fly away. Take it easy, team. Thank you for being here and being so patient. And thank you for donating your time and your services and your shekels. See you later.